What is going on, fellas? What's going on, man? Let me get a sound check in the building, make sure everything is alright. But it's your boy Kamish Moolah, and we are back with another good old podcast for y'all. And then under the weather, man. Past couple days, good allergies bothering me, and the allergies trigger my asthma. And I guess it's like around that season now. It's getting a little hotter, so sometimes it just be a bit much for me. But your boy feeling good though. We got it back going, and we good. We've been getting through this season at a nice pace. We at episode 10, week 10, so it makes sense. We gonna go through our game reviews, our league leaders. Um, pardon me. We gonna go through the final fours. You know that we got the college style final fours, man. Um, and yeah, man, we just gonna attack that. Y'all usually know how the podcast goes. I'm gonna throw the franchise tool up, and we just gonna discuss the schedule. We gonna do our predictions. We gonna do what we regularly do. I know it is a bit later than the average podcast would start, but I rather had gotten through it. I was like doing some treatments and taking some allergy measures, trying to snap back. But yeah, man, we here. We definitely gonna get it done. Shout out to my guys in the chat, Chris Beach, Farrell Reigns. I got Ace. I got Brandon. We gonna rock out, man. How we usually rock out. But definitely want to just give y'all that little spill, man, and let y'all know we back in action. We never down for too long though. That's one thing. Pardon the playback. I just had to pull up my second screen. Shout out to my guy Tank Jackson. But y'all know me, man. I like to just grind. I love being involved with the community and doing as much as possible. I be in VC. We gonna keep that flowing. We got some exciting things on the horizon with NCAA 24. I mean, college football. Is it gonna be 24 or technically 25? I don't know. Whichever one they're gonna wind up calling it. But I think it's gonna be exciting. I think we're gonna get a lot of new people in the league. I'm not gonna have you guys wait too much on that though. I'd rather join watching the season that we have in progress. Trying to get down with the schools or whatever. So I may just like jump into a new season with you guys next year after I get like the teams made if we go the team builder route that we spoke about with our custom conference. But yeah, man, there's a lot of exciting things on the horizon. I'm getting ready for that. That's in July. We get to do some pro little settings, I guess, with this first draft that's coming up. There's not gonna be any user players in that draft, so it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how that shapes up. But I think it's gonna be fun, guys. I think we got a lot of dope stuff on the horizon. We've been definitely killing it with the content. We've been getting a really good viewership. And I just appreciate you guys for all of that, man. The viewership is very, very important when it comes to just trying to build the YouTube channel in the way that we're trying to do it. Simulation is something new, so I'm really excited that with some simulation not being super known that way, the RFL did some things with simulation for a long time, and they kind of was like what I should say is like the top of sim league for a while, but it's still relatively new to people as far as the setting. So I think it's dope that we get to continue that and take this thing to the next level. I'm excited at how much we've grown in this type of setting. Whether it was basketball, football, it's been a nice steady progression. And that's what we're gonna continue to do, man. Continue to just put on for simulation style gameplay. It's my favorite way to play the game. So I definitely just want to keep that going as much as possible. Um, and yeah, man, we trying to change the game, man. We trying to take everything to the next level. So I'm gonna get that screen capture up, so I'm not talking our heads off. Um, Let me go to this browser real quick. Let me get this little game capture up. Capture any full screen application. Capture specific window. Yeah. Uh, okay. Hold up, guys. Let me get some time. Let me put this game capture out. We're gonna go through the stats and everything. We're gonna review the games how we usually do. Then we're gonna go through the stats. And we also gonna look at the power rankings to see who's in line for making that top. that top five, man. That very important. I mean, top four. That very important top four. That is going to basically be in the playoffs. So I get my face on the screen. I'll put myself somewhere over here because I'm not trying to be in the way of what's going on. I'll get this fit to the screen as well, so you guys get a nice full screen. It made me bigger. I clicked on me by mistake, but I'll make me a bit smaller for this segment that we're going through this. Make sure that the window capture is fit to the screen. There we go. Let me get some feedback in the chat. Let me know if y'all see everything clearly, if everything is good, because I can't see my Oh yeah, I actually got my second screen up, so we're good. All right, so we'll go through the week first before we do our predictions. Starting off, we had Georgia beating Wisconsin. This was a good win for UGA if you ask me. Wisconsin has just been a steady CPU team that I feel like you can't sleep on. They got Nick Vick, they got the running back Ramirez, and I think that they've been just a steady team that you can't sleep on any given day. I think that they've been the type of team that if you think you could sleep on them, they definitely could shock you. Nick Patton. They call him Nick Vick because he can run the ball really well. He's been able to make some plays down the field to help out Wisconsin. And I just think we just knew coming in that Wisconsin was going to be a pretty tough team that wasn't going to be easy to beat. And they 4-4-1 record kind of shows that. Of course, it's not supposed to be ties in a simulation. I mean, in a college setting, but it is because we're on the mod. So it is what it is. But yeah, man. I just think Wisconsin was a very competitive team, and UGA being on the downturn that they were on, being that they're starting to cover some ground, I think it is. I think this was a big win for them. This is like the type of games that you want to win if you UGA because it shows that your team has the potential that people thought, and it just shows that these guys can compete when it gets down to the nitty gritty, man. I'm trying to look at UGA's schedule real quick to see how they fared in the last couple games. So week 6 they won, week 7 they won. They lost to a tough Sooners team in week 8, and week 9 they won. So yeah, man. So they won. What? Let me count out. 1, 2, 3. They won three. What? Three of their last. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So they won a nice amount of their last couple of games. That's definitely not a bad. This is not a bad stretch for them. They won week 6. They won week 7. They lost week 8. Won week 9. That's not bad. That's not bad. So that's 3 of their last 4. Well, actually 4 of their last 5 if you count this game right here. So they won 4 of their last 5. That's not bad if you ask me. Winning 4 of your last 5 and then beating a team like Wisconsin, that's good. That should go a long way towards boosting some confidence. 4 of your last 5, and that's their only 4 wins. So this stretch of games has been very well for UGA. I think this kid the running back AJ Mullis has been really stepping up for them. He's been huge. And you gotta like what you've seen out of AJ Mullis and company. Let me know if I'm good as far as sound and everything, guys. But yeah, man. I think if I gotta turn myself up because I sound a little nasally or something, let me know. Um, but yeah, man, I think everything is starting to look up for UGA. I don't think that they will be a playoff team if I'm being real. It's only 4 teams gonna make the playoffs. But I think they'll have a strong season and they'll write a good story for their freshmen that are, the user guys. I think the user guys could use this platform to just show that they're talented, and I think that's what they're doing. I like what I've seen from their quarterback at times. I like what I've seen from their wide receiving core. Ethan Kright as well as JoJo has been playing tremendous. And yeah, man, they got some things to work on. AJ Mullis, the running back, has been good. So they do have some things to work on. But at this late stretch in the season, I think they're just finishing very strong. And that's what you want to see out of a talented team like that. Moving on, you got Michigan State versus Oklahoma State. And this was a big win for Oklahoma State, man, because Michigan State is a tough squad. Michigan State has gave everybody trouble And here goes the Book of Eli getting it done. And this was a crazy game, actually. I think guys should really go back and watch this game. They really played well, and Oklahoma State got it done. The Book of Eli has proven that he could step up in big moments. I gotta go do my homework on what's his record as a starting QB, but I'm pretty sure he was doing pretty well because Notre Dame, he might be over 500. Although Oklahoma State is not, he may be over 500 because he had some wins at Notre Dame. He kind of started that winning streak for Notre Dame before their starting quarterback Jay Bogner came back. Michigan State takes a tough loss here. I think this win would have went really far as them competing in that top four. I think that they can compete as a top four team, but losses like this really hurt you. You know what I mean? Losses like this against an Oklahoma State team, they got a very talented quarterback now, and their defense is pretty good. So it is what it is. But being 6-2 at this point would have went been a lot better for them. If you ask me, would have been a lot better for them. We in week we're about to be in week 10. We're in week 9 right now. Well, this is the end of week 9, and with 13 weeks in the season, only 12 games, any loss kind of hurts. And that's just, part of being in a college setting. But Michigan State is definitely gonna bounce back. I think that their scheme is hard to deal with. I think the way that they approach the game is hard for any team to deal with. Oklahoma State had to make some big plays to make this happen. The Book of Eli really turned up and just literally just showed what he's capable of doing. Dual threat guy, one of the fastest quarterbacks, in the league, and he turned up. But this was definitely a tough loss for Michigan State, and this is a loss that may come back to bite them if they were to win out. We would have to check the rest of their schedule to see if they're even capable of winning out. They might got some tougher teams on the back end, but I think this would have been a big win for them. Next, we got Florida State versus Florida. This was a really good game. This was a test of just like two top teams. As you can see, the records. This was just gonna be a dogfight to begin with. That's what it was. 17-22 in favor of Florida. Florida, I feel like might have been the favorite coming in, although both teams had a really good record. I feel like Florida was, that team coming in. So seeing as Florida is able to come away with the victory, it just makes a lot of sense. I think if you were to ask around the league who's the best teams right now, I think most people are gonna go with Bama and Florida. So it definitely makes sense. It was a dogfight because Florida State has been right behind these teams all season long. Florida State has not been taken, lightly by anybody, and they couple bumps in the road at 5-3, but for the most part, they've been at the top of the league. Like they've been mid tier to top of the top. And that's just a testament to how good both of these teams are. And don't be surprised. It could be a potential scenario where both teams can actually make the Final Four in Florida because you know both of these teams, like I said, just really talented. And we're gonna go through some power rankings so you guys can see what's the top teams in the league as far as records. We got a lot of guys close right now, so these next coming weeks are gonna start to separate, the top from the mid tier. And who knows? Maybe we get a lot of ties and headed into conference championship. That's what's gonna change who's in and who's out because with these records, a lot of teams are so close that conference championships could be the defining factor on who's in and who's out. Just not, I don't want to say recency bias, but head to heads in the most recent fashion could wind up giving some teams the upper hand. So just be mindful of that. Pay attention to those zones. If you need a refreshment on the zones, you can look at that on our Instagram at Moolah versus or MSFL.EA on Instagram. So if you want to want to check out your zone and see what's going on, we definitely can see what's up with that. Next week, I will start dropping graphics with zone records. So that way, the closer we get to the conference, chips and stuff like that, you guys can see the zone records. Shout out to my guy, Aiden Phillips. Make sure you stay around, Aiden. I know you'll be excited to see where your guys ranking right now as far as sacks. And you might have seen on the schedule because it has the top guys on the side of the schedule that I dropped where your guy was ranked, but he definitely is killing it this season, and we appreciate you having us. I mean, we appreciate you for being a part of this experience with us. It's the first season And I think it's been a really good season, guys. I've really enjoyed it. I'm having a good time growing the channel with you guys, and let's just keep this thing flowing. We got Texas versus Ohio State. So Ohio State is a team with talent that is just I just don't think that they gel properly. I don't think that they came up with the right game plans and scheming for their team. Allow all the users to input on their scheming and game plans as well as developing their characters, and that's just not something that this team did at a high level. So I feel like a lot of the results that guys are getting is based on the work that they put in. Some guys are not active, so they get CPU, game plans, and that's cool, but you got to live with the result. It's not based on me. It's just based on what you guys put in. That's ultimately what you're gonna get out of this experience. So, if you think you got a team and you guys can come take over the Moolahverse, show me, man. I definitely, would love to see guys come in, make teams as far as the college setting and take this thing to the next level. So we welcome all the competition. I hope seeing and being in this setting this year that you guys will adjust. Maybe you get with guys that know what they're doing, so you guys could cook up something together. And I would say even if you want to play with certain guys, when we drop these Moolahverse teams, I would say get with the guys that put the work in. You don't want to be on a team where guys are not progressing their guys, and then they want to be mad at the outcome of what happens. You definitely don't want that, guys. Because that tends to happen at times. You got guys who would be inactive, and then they complain about not getting the results that they want or their teammates. But if you're not putting in the work, you really can't blame your teammates. And I've noticed some of the guys that's not as active, user guys, been having a tough time, man. So Ohio State, Texas was a tough matchup, and the guys at Texas just put in a little bit more work than the Ohio State guys. I think some of the activity maybe kind of even, but the most active Texas guys put in a lot more work than the active Ohio State guys, and it just shows 26-0 is what it is, man. Texas really slaughtered these guys. And the Texas users, they've been around, they progressed their guys, they've been putting the work in. And Texas is another team with a lot of potential. I think that they wanted to play better, but 6-3 is really good in this league setting. This is not an easy league to play in, because everybody has the freedom to do what they want. Everybody has the freedom to game plan and do playbooks the way that they want. So you're gonna get in what you put out, man. You're gonna get out what you put in. And a lot of guys are seeing that and learning that the hard way in this setting. But we trying to be the best competitive simulation setting. And we can't be the best simulation. We can't be the most competitive and best simulation setting if we're just pampering to guys that are not active. I'd rather have 10 active guys than 1,000 guys who are just here and there. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you got to be super duper invested, but take care of your team, take care of your player. As long as you take care of your team and your player, I think you're gonna have good success in this league, and I think you're gonna be able to grow with the league at a nice pace. This is a really good opportunity early on to become a star in a league that's honestly, however anybody feels, is one of the best leagues, in the simulation world. Like, we don't have too much competition. We're monetized already. We get good viewership numbers. We get thousands of views on videos, and this could be your player, stepping up to the par, and the audience that we have on YouTube that's watching these videos could be watching your player be a star. You can be the star of, favorite players for certain people, and like, it's just all up to you, honestly. So we just gonna keep it flowing. And Texas just did a tremendous job in this game. They really took it to Ohio State and shut them out. And this defense is just known for that. Aiden Phillips, Deshaun Nakano, you got Waverly and Kamari at the secondary spots, and it's just tough, man. And then when you got Jason Duncan, Key Harris has stepped up in the running game. I believe he's leading the country in rushing yards now. He's been playing tremendous, and you just gotta love the effort from these Texas guys. They definitely have stepped it up big time, and 6-3 is really good. I think that they hit a fork in the road where they took a couple of losses in a row, but after that, they pretty much got it together. And a lot of these guys are young; they're freshmen. It's early, like I said, in the league, so it is what it is. But I think guys are definitely progressing and coming into their own here, and that's what we appreciate. Michigan 38, Oklahoma 31. Michigan, uh, stepped up. Michigan is a prime example of a team that I feel like some of the teams were just created a bit evenly, but I feel like the work that Michigan has put in as far as their users is the reason why this team is above 500 in this tough setting. I feel like the work that they put in, like they've earned every win. I could say that the quarterback Zion and the running back Tank Jackson, these guys put in the work. 5-4 is something that they should be proud of in this setting, only because they really have worked on their players and they have worked to find what works for them. And this was a game that was a complete shootout, but they really put in the work to find something that worked for them. And this game, it worked at a high level. Like if you watch this game, this probably was the most efficient and like the most efficient and comfortable that they've looked in, I would say, some games. It was just some other adjustments that they made. They were just right there. It looked like they were really close to getting it together, and they finally put it together in this game. And I was happy for them. Oklahoma's another tough team. Duncan Woods is a new quarterback kid. He's been doing a pretty decent job trying to figure things out and find his footing in this league. He was built over a really good quarterback in Dorian Brackett. So he's gonna do what he's gonna do. But I definitely gotta tip my hat to the Michigan guys. Troy Frost, definitely gotta shout out Troy Frost. He went off in this game. This was his coming out party. I think he owed them. He had dropped a game-winning touchdown that would have changed the course of that record. They would have been what this would have been their seventh win had he not dropped a touchdown for the game. And yeah, man, Frost went crazy in this game. I think that the playbook comp must have complemented his play style well. I mean, obviously worked for Zion. And I think I'm just happy for this team because they found their flow. You know what I mean? It took some time, but they definitely found their flow. And yeah, man, shout out to Michigan. That was a big win against Oklahoma. Don't let the record fool you. Oklahoma's a very tough team. They were 4-4 coming in. Both teams were 4-4, and Michigan got over the hump and got the win for them. Next up, you got Notre Dame, Auburn. Another really good game. Auburn has one of the top offenses, so I know that Notre Dame was upset about this loss. But one thing about Auburn and that quarterback Tyler Bledsoe is that kid can ball. That kid is a gunslinger. He reminds me of like I'm not saying that he's Aaron Rodgers level or Brett Favre's level, but the kid is talented. The arm talent on the kid is obviously there. If he could get any help from his defense and line, receiving core, I think you're in trouble. I think he's the type of guy, if you put him with top receivers next year, Tyler Bledsoe is the truth. You know what I mean? He is a generic quarterback. He's a guy that we may keep going forward, or he may just be headed to the draft. I'm not sure. I still got to do my homework and just see who I want to cross over into this first draft class. Of course, with college coming out, we wouldn't have to do all of that. The draft classes will be consistent throughout the game on its own, and then we could just transfer them to Madden, effortlessly. But for now, because it's our first season, I have to really go through those generics and see, who's worth keeping around, who was like, storyline guys that you guys would want to follow into a pro setting. Everybody won't be kept, but we definitely will do the job of like going through that and figuring out who's those guys that's worth keeping, so that way we keep those stories alive. Next up we had Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and another good game. Ole Miss is just continuing their tear, if I'm being honest. Ole Miss is just starting to just look like what it is. It's starting to look like a really, good top team here in this setting. Of course, one would say that their, schedule per se wasn't the toughest. But I think in the fashion that they're playing, even if their schedule isn't the toughest, nobody else is putting up. Every team has been pretty even. Even the guys they've played, other top teams has played them. And I just think the fashion and how easy they make things look at times, it gets tough. It's like tough to say that somebody's better than them just off a strength of schedule because all of these teams are so even. Texas A&M, they're usually a pretty good offensive team, but that's why you gotta give a big shout out to Ole Miss's defense, because at every point that Ole Miss's defense had to make a play, they did. Ole Miss's secondary was very, very questionable coming into the season, and even at a lot of points in the season. But their secondary stepped up huge, guys, and really took over this game. I think you gotta go watch that game over and just see how good their defense was. Put together a lot of stops. turnovers with the interceptions, and that was really the story of the game. And as you can see, Texas A&M was no slouch. They were 5-3 coming to this game, and Ole Miss's defense really carried the load. Ace Andre Roche is cerebral. The kid is a problem. Super, talented. But this game was definitely on the defense. 23 points is good. Definitely still put up points, and he was getting his team down the field. But it was the defense that was like the consistent factor, and the thing that really stood out the most. Ace is a problem. I think he's gonna be one of the best quarterbacks. In his college class, he still has some work to put in. Still has some work to do, but that kid is definitely going to be, top two. I feel like QBs, if not, one. Him and Duke Davis is still going at it. A lot of guys still, I guess debating between him and Duke, and that's fair because both of these guys have really stepped up and played outstanding. One team is 6-2, the other's team is 8-1. So the winning goes a long way for Duke Davis, but you can't knock either of them. Both of these guys are super duper talented. LSU versus Penn State in the next game, and Penn State took it to LSU, man. LSU was on a streak of a lifetime, and Penn State completely nerfed them, man. This is where I gotta give a shout out to my guy Johnny Marzell. The kid is the truth. A lot of people were like skeptical about him because of the Marzell close to Manziel thing, and they were giving him a lot of heat. He said that was his favorite quarterback, growing up, and that's who he wanted to somewhat model his player after. And I gotta say, man, the kid has stepped up. He has shocked a lot of teams who were either ranked really high or had the odds stacked against him. Every time it was like a team that had a lot of users that was supposed to be good, or a team like LSU in a sense that was on a crazy 6-game winning streak. The kid has, turned the tables. He flipped the script, changed the narrative. And yes, his team has had some bumps in the road, but whenever a kid shows you that type of resiliency, it's like he's almost in any game. You're almost scared to see him play against any of the top teams because you just know that this kid is gonna compete at a high level, and he got a chance to shock you. And that's what I gotta tip my hat to a kid like that. It has some things to work on. Like I'll say, what he's not the best quarterback in his class as of yet, but these guys all have another year before they're eligible for the draft, and I think his name goes in a pot. I think late in rounds, I think maybe in the later rounds, a team will want to take that shot on a kid that just competes. I see him getting in the QB room, maybe being a backup at a pro level for maybe a year or two before he takes over. Depending on the work he puts in, he's gonna have to put in the work. He's gonna have to earn it. Nothing will be given. But I think a kid like him, if he puts in the work at the next level, he could definitely become a starter in 1 to 2 years, and it's gonna be a problem. Like he's going to compete. So that's one thing I'll say about Marzell. And he did his thing in this one, shocking LSU, who was on a 6-game win streak. LSU was 0-2 and then went on a 6-game win streak, and they were trying to make it number 7, but Mulan Marzell came in and took it right to them, man. So shout out to Marzell. Great effort out there. I'm gonna try to get through this a little quicker. Utah in the next game versus Colorado, a shootout, and Utah now starting to make their way up above 500, 5-3, really good record at through 8 games. Can't complain with the effort of Utah. Colorado 1-5. You know what I'm saying? That's good money right there, man. That is good stuff right there. Colorado was no slouch. They've had a lot of up and downs for sure, but it was a point in time where this team, started to go on an up and up. I believe they might have even been 4-2. I think they may be on a losing streak. I think this team might have been 4-2, and might have started racking up the losses in the later weeks, because I know there was a point in time I was watching. I'm like, wow, Colorado is really starting to come up. But shout out to Utah, because it was a point where Utah was looking like they were gonna be below and underwater, and they starting to take off. They got a Trey King has a lot of potential. I think he may be a slept on quarterback because some of the things that he's able to do is above average. But I think Utah being a CPU based team and then just slept on a little bit, I think a lot of guys are letting them creep under the water. But one thing you have to remember about Utah is that if they can keep this up and keep a pretty good record heading into zone play, which is the conference championship. We have 4 zones, and those would pretty much be the conference championships. If they could sneak in based on their record and who they played, and tiebreakers in their zone, this team could be a conference championship winning team, and then they make a case depending on who they've played. We would have to see what the rest of this season is gonna look like, but 5-3 is really good. 5-3, I feel like you're still in the hunt. You're still in the good fight. A lot of these 5-4 teams are not all the way out of it either, but it's gonna take a lot. They're gonna have to win out as far as these next, 5-4, you have 9 games. These next 3 games, they'll definitely have to win out, and the schedules will have to align as far as who are they playing. But a team that has 6 wins at this point, um, that's really good. You got 3 games left, and you got a chance to go, 9-3. It's not bad. That's not bad. We don't have. I don't think we have any 7-win teams right now. Some teams have had it bye weeks already, so that plays a factor. But I don't think we have any 7 week win teams outside of Alabama at 8-1, who's really, been top of the top right now. So it's still a nice race for a lot of teams, guys. And these next couple weeks are going to pretty much shake up how things are looking around the league. So everybody, I think, is still in the fight outside of maybe the 5 lost teams. I think the 5 lost teams could call it quits unless something miraculous happens and all of the 4, lost teams and 3 lost teams start to take L's. And I don't even know if that will line up mathematically. But it's definitely a lot going on in the league these next couple weeks, and you really got to pay attention as we get into the nitty gritty of this season to see how things are gonna fare. Because you may be shocked at who's in the top 4. We're gonna look at the power rankings, of course, in a few after we get through this. But I'm telling you guys, man, this is the time to lock in and try to get those game plans in, especially if you're still in a hunt as like a 3 loss or 4 loss team, man. Try to get in that hunt. USC 5-3, 24 to 13 in favor of USC going against NC State, and USC has been a team that's been tough. This is a tough NC State team, so USC beating them is a pretty good bounce back. I think USC lost to LSU last week, and that was a pretty tough game. Yeah, they did lose to LSU in a pretty tough game. LSU was smoking hot, so you got to give them a benefit of the benefit of the doubt. Take it with a grain of salt. But USC, man, USC definitely came up big winning this game. That's gonna go a long way towards what they want to do and how they want to establish themselves as a team. And you gotta like the effort from the Trojans in this one, bouncing back against a really good team. This was a test for them, man. To be able to bounce back against a team like NC State is really good. Justin Thomas, the running back. Rob Edwards. This is just a pretty good team, man. They've beaten some pretty good teams, and they've stayed above 500 afloat for a while. So for USC to beat them, USC is continuing to prove, how good that they could be as a team. Next up, you got Oregon beating Mississippi State. Oregon is trying to come up and show their potential. They're 3-6 right now. I want to say that they've won maybe 3 of their last 5 games, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to do an extra checkup on that, but I'm pretty sure they won 3 of their last 5 games. And on the back end, they're trying to be heartbreakers. They're trying to shock some guys. Mississippi State could have easily been a team that could have snuck in maybe the top 4, or hurt a team's chances of getting in that top 4 just with how good that defense is. And I think this is a shocker that they lose to Oregon in this game. But Oregon has definitely been stepping up and trying to show guys that they're not for play here in this league. And I like the resiliency. I like when teams bounce back like that and start to show some fight. Not only does it help the users that need to put some time in, but it also just creates a better story and narrative, man. Shout out to my guy Kennard Roden in the building as well with the hashtag MSFL. Let me get a hashtag MSFL in the chat. I just want to see who's still rocking with us in the chat, man. May throw a code word in there for you guys too, so you can get some extra SC. Matter of fact, I will throw a code word in there so you guys can get some SC. But let me get a hashtag MSFL first, and let me see who's rocking with us. Next up, we got North Carolina versus Washington. And this was a game, man. This was a game of 2 teams that I feel like had top team potential early on in the preseason. They looked really good. A lot of young user guys who expected a lot from, but both teams just kind of dropped the ball, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. Both teams kind of dropped the ball on what they was expected to do. I think Washington and North Carolina was expected to be a lot better than what they are right now. But it is what it is, man. They really, didn't pan out. And I think these users gotta wait till next year to just, compete at the highest level as far as, trying to string some games together, get them a conference chip, playoff aspirations. I think those things are kind of out the window. It is 12 games in the season, so both of them still have a chance for a bowl. Obviously Washington has to win out. UNC still got a little bit of breathing room if 6 games give you bowl eligibility, but they still have to, figure some things out as well. And North Carolina gets the edge on Washington. I think that gives them some bragging rights between some guys. And yeah, man, definitely give you some bragging rights. But for the most part, their seasons is still a bit up in the air. Next up, we got TCU versus Miami, and TCU and Miami both bottom feeders in the league right now, but TCU stepped up to the occasion and got their second win of the season versus Miami, 20-13. And TCU has potential; they had the potential, but once again, I think a lot of guys got to get used to the simulation setting. They got to learn how to scheme, learn these playbooks, and they'll be all right. Going into college is gonna be another tough outing. It's gonna be another tough goal because teams got to learn the college playbooks, got to learn the college schemes and how they work. So it's not gonna be easy by any stretch, but I think that's good that guys got to put the work in and got to earn it here in the MSFL, Multiverse Simulation Football League, the top simulation setting, man, where you can see the game, be the game, and play the game as the game plays you, man. So last but not certainly not least, we had Alabama at 8-1 versus the 6-3 Oregon State. So Oregon State was actually 6-2 at the time. Bama was 7-1. And this was like a clash of the Titans, so to speak. You had Sam Bucci up against Duke Davis. And this was Sam Bucci's chance, I feel like, to really go over the hump and prove himself. But I think that he kind of dropped the ball. And we've seen Sam Bucci, disappear in certain big moments, but we also seen big time potential in this kid. And I think coming out of this class of quarterbacks, he may be the top guy. Just as far as the narrative, as far as the impact, as far as his team stringing it together, he may be the top guy in his class. But there is some question marks, and he will have to work on a few things. Not perfect by any stretch, but Sam Bucci definitely got some things to work on. So it's going to be interesting to see him move on to the next level. But he will be moving on to the next level, and I can't wait to see what he does at a pro level. We definitely will be keeping up on Sam Bucci and seeing what Brett Sambucci could do at the next level. But Duke Davis, Alabama, these guys are a huge problem, man. My guy, Kennard Roden at one corner, Ty K. Wells at the other corner. These guys are phenomenal. If you just go back and watch the games, these guys, you can't throw to the outside against Bama. These guys are breaking passes up. These guys are intercepting passes. These guys are taking, the game to the next level. And, I just got to tip my hat to these guys because they truly are stacked from offense to defense. And they put in the work. They figure out what works for them. I feel like they didn't have to make too many adjustments because they had a plan, and then the team that they cultivated together just worked, man. So shout out to Bama, shout out to the coaching staff, shout out to just how effective these guys have been all season, man. I gotta tip my hat to these guys. They're front line for that cash, man. Right now, they're front line for that cash, and big shout out to Alabama giving Bucci a hard time. And sometimes Alabama starts slow, but when they pick it up, boy, oh boy, it is over. And we could do some predictions for this week, guys. So we could take some time, go through these predictions. And we got Oregon versus the Tar Heels, just so you guys can see this. I'm still gonna fly through this. You guys comment the teams that y'all got as I go, because I'm gonna try to speed this up. I'm gonna let you see the comparison as well. If you want to pause that and take a little more time to dissect, which team is better before you drop your comment, do that as well. But definitely drop your comment and let me know who you guys got. In this game, I gotta say, North Carolina just won, but the Ducks are playing pretty good too. I'm still gonna go with North Carolina. I still think this team has really good potential with Jay King. I like the kid. I think he's pretty good. His teammates not too happy with him, but I think the kid has some potential. So I'm definitely gonna go with Jay King and the Tar Heels in this one. Oregon State versus the Tar Heels. Some guys putting Ducks. Oregon versus the Tar Heels. Some guys putting Ducks. See some UNCs in there. Notre Dame versus Florida. This is a huge game. This is a really big game this week because this is going to test the Fighting Irish as well as the Gators, man. The Fighting Irish is known to have a really good offense, weapons on that offense. Jay Bogner, Hello Rello, Brandon James, Matt. I think it's Matthew McConaughey. I believe that's his name, the tight end. Ace Lewis, who just like set a record in rushing yards. These guys are a problem, but the Gators are as well, man. And I think this is a really good test for both teams. I think a win here could put Notre Dame in a conversation of top four. And a win here also solidifies the Gators as top four. I think guaranteed. Just showing what they can do against some of the top offenses and top weapons in the league. So this is honestly going to be a great game, and I can't wait to see it unfold. But I definitely am going to go with the Gators in this one, man. The Gators is just tough defense. As well as a veteran quarterback that just shows you what he can do. He looks like an upperclassman. If you watch that last game by the Gators, against Florida State, man. He just outclassed the younger Tyshawn Bryant, and that wasn't an easy fight. So Tyshawn and Florida State has been a good team all year long, but Eric Weber just stepped up, and that defense is just good collectively. So it's definitely hard, man. Gators have some tough wins over Bama, FSU. Add Notre Dame, and they top four for sure. Exactly. So I would agree. Then we got TCU versus Wolverines. And although this is very lopsided, the potential of both teams is what's going to make me say this is going to be a dogfight. Of course, I'm going to go with the Wolverines first. Definitely going to say that the Wolverines are first, right? Hear me out. Gonna say that the Wolverines are winning in this matchup. I'm gonna pick the Wolverines first, but the Horned Frogs potential is really good as well. This is not going to be an easy team for Michigan. The way Michigan played last week, if they play like that, they may blow TCU out. So don't quote me on it, but I just think that the Horned Frogs have the potential to make it a battle. I honestly feel that way. I think if they can force Michigan to make mistakes, which we've seen Michigan make some mistakes during the season, I think that they will be in good shape as far as staying in this game. So I'm gonna pick the Wolverines, but don't be surprised if TCU gets the upset. And a loss to TCU here will definitely disqualify Michigan from any chances of a Final Four appearance, if I'm being honest. And yeah, moving on. We're going to go Penn State, Oklahoma State. And this is another good game. You got Marzell versus the Book. You got Mulan Marzell versus the Book. And it's hard to call this game, but I got to stick with Marzell, man. The Book came on strong. He's looking good. But Marzell has just stepped up to the occasion. There's not too many challenges that you've seen Marzell falter to. I'm kind of done betting the kid out. I'm kind of done as far as picking other guys over the kid because he steps up and he shows you, man. He's not the guy to play with. So I got Mulan Marzell in this one. Definitely gonna take Penn State. Y'all let me know who y'all got. Y'all can pause to see the splits and go a little deeper into who statistically is better in each category. But I wanted this to be a quicker cast. I wanted to get it out the way because I didn't want to not do the cast because we've been doing a good job of making things fall in order. Even if it's not in a certain time frame, it's in order. And I just want to keep that up. And we've been grinding, bro. We've got through a season pretty quick. Like, let me know, am I bugging? Did we get through a college series pretty quick? Did this feel like it was like, a super long and drawn out series? Let me know. Maybe it's different for me because I'm watching every game and I'm the commissioner, but has it felt like we've really breezed through this? Let me know in the chat. I definitely got Marzell in this one. Utah versus Michigan State. This is a really good one. Man. 5-3, 5-3. But I think the Michigan State has just been playing like a 5-3. I think this Utah 5-3 kind of surprises people. And let me see who Utah. Pardon me, I don't even want to postpone this by going through all of this too long. But I gotta see who Utah is beating because they might have shocked some teams that we might have been sleeping on them for. So they lost. That's what I'm saying. They beat Notre Dame. They lost to Washington. They beat Oregon. Okay, they beat Oregon twice. Okay. They beat Oregon twice. Got it. But they beat Penn State. They beat Colorado. Yeah, yeah. I see what happened there. They beat Oregon twice. So that's gonna kind of work against them. They've lost to teams and their biggest win is honestly Notre Dame. Yeah, their biggest win is Notre Dame, and that two games against Oregon is a bit misleading. So that's what it is about. Um that's maybe what it is. That's maybe what it is. Shout out to my guy Eli Carter in the building. But yeah, man. So Utah's not playing bad, but yeah, as I checked the schedule, they played Oregon twice. That's two of their wins, and then the other four wins weren't against nobody too crazy. I'll give them the win against Notre Dame. And let me look at that again because they beat four other teams. So let me see. They beat Notre Dame. That's a good win. They beat Oregon twice, so that's three right there. And then they beat Penn State. So they beaten two good teams, two teams that I could give them respect for. Oh, they also beat Penn State. I mean, they also beat Colorado, who's another pretty good team. So all right, I can't take all the credit from them because they did beat some okay teams, you know. But the two wins against Oregon is the only thing that has me like eh. But you know, it is what it is. Texas A&M, Florida State. We got I gotta go with Florida State. The way Texas A&M played against a pretty good defense last week. I gotta go with Florida State. Ole Miss took it to them, and Ole Miss defense isn't as good as Florida State's to me. So and Florida State defense, don't get me wrong. Florida State, I'm not saying like Florida State defense is like super crazy, but I just think, Florida State is a tough team, and the Aggies floor is a lot lower than Florida State's floor, if you ask me. And I think the Florida State ceiling is a lot higher than the Aggies. But this could even things up. This could even things up. I think this is big for Florida State if they want to stay in that top four realm. If they want to stay in that top four realm, they definitely got to keep this up. I don't think they can afford a loss here if they want to stay in that top four realm. But you guys let me know. Let me know who y'all got in that one. Next, Alabama versus Auburn. Auburn's been another team known to shock people. And Alabama is going against Auburn this week. But I'm definitely going Alabama. Definitely, without a doubt, going Alabama, guys. This is not going to even be... I don't got to think too long. But don't be surprised if it's a shootout. Because Auburn could put up some points, guys. Look at the passing yards. Look at the rushing yard. Look at the yardage on the offense. And look at the points. So don't be surprised, guys. Don't be surprised if Auburn's averaging 23 points a game. You know what I'm saying? They're averaging over 100 rushing yards a game and close to, 8 yards off of Bama. They're converting on third down at a higher clip than Alabama. They're converting on fourth down higher than Alabama. And their red zone efficiency is even. So Bama has them on defense, guys, right? But even the defensive numbers isn't too drastic. So don't, it may be a shootout, but I definitely still have Bama. I don't think Bama can afford to get complacent. I think they're locked at 4 in the top 4 regardless, but they can't get complacent. I think the 8 wins keep them safe, but they can't lose out. Losing out would make things very dangerous. And some teams would definitely benefit from that. So Bama can't lose out. They gotta stay strong heading into the playoffs. And heading into week 12 or week 13, which would be the final week. So yeah, man. This is a really good game too. USC versus Texas. This is a big test for both teams. This is a big test to see, which team is really it, man. This is gonna be a long way to that top 4 fight as well. I think this is gonna be one of them games in that top 4 fight that you go and you be like, okay, they earned that. You know what I mean? When you look at these teams' records at this point, by the end of the season, when we look at all the teams' record, when looking over the top 4, I think this game is going to mean something for whoever comes out, victorious. And the loser could be on the bad side because that when you get to 4 losses, it starts to get, hey, um. But Texas defense is definitely looking good. Their defensive line is looking crazy, man. That guy Aiden is no joke. And their secondary is no joke. Waverly, Kamari, a hill. Like these guys are tough. So it's definitely gonna be tough to get past Texas. But USC got some things brewing. They got Keyshawn, Covington. They got a nice, decent quarterback as well. So you gotta keep your eyes out, man. Keep your eyes out. I got you look at the statistics. The statistics will tell you Texas. Texas is only giving up 14 points a game on average. That is tough. I'm going Texas. I'm going Texas. 14 points a game is tough, guys. 14 points a game is tough, bro. Like, yeah, we've seen them take some tough losses or whatever, but to average out at 14 points a game, man, that is tough. Texas is no joke with that one. And yeah, man, I'm definitely gonna give it to Texas, bro. I'm gonna give it to Texas on that one. I'm gonna give it to Texas. Um, you got Colorado, Oklahoma. Ooh, I'm gonna go with Oklahoma. I'm gonna go with Oklahoma on this one. It's some statistics is a little leaning towards Colorado, but I just think something about them Sooners, man. I think I'm going Colorado, man. I think I'm going Colorado. I mean, I think I'm going Oklahoma. I think I'm going Oklahoma. That's Duncan Woods versus Ronnie Shanahan. Two freshman guys that I think pretty good, show some flashes. I think Duncan Woods may got a better upside than Ronnie right now, but Ronnie be around, man. Ronnie be around, so I think Ronnie got a chance to make some things happen, man. So you gotta watch Ronnie. He's a big clutch, but I'm still gonna give it to Duncan Woods in this case. Washington versus Mississippi State. Um, this tough. This tough. This is two really good defenses. Both teams only giving up 18 points a game. Look at this. Both teams only giving up 18 points a game. So Washington might have met their match as far as going against a team with a defense as good as theirs. And for that reason, I'm going Mississippi State. Because Washington is just having struggles on offense, obviously. They average 14 points a game. And Mississippi State has a really good defense. They both, stop teams, obviously. You see 18. Washington gets more turnovers, right? With the turnover differential. But Mississippi State could put up more points. So I'm going Mississippi State. The guys that said 6-3 final. It's definitely probably going to be a low scoring game. It's definitely probably going to be a low scoring game, but I'm going Mississippi State in that one. I know my boy Carter not going to like that one. Ohio State versus Clemson. Game of the bottom feeders. Neither team even averages 20 points, but both defenses are giving up 20 points a game. And I think Ohio State gets this one. I'll pick Ohio State. No need to really go too much into this one, but I'll go Ohio State. I say Ohio State gets the dub in this one. That's all I'll say. But I don't want to. I can't really hype up either side. Both teams have shown flashes at times. Both teams got pretty decent pieces, but I think Ohio State and them guys got it together. I think that they just got to figure out what works for them. And these guys, a lot of guys complain in the league, but don't try to do nothing to help their team or progress their players. So it's like sometimes just be listening like, yeah, you guys have no clue. But it is what it is. Iowa 4-4 versus Tennessee 1-6. I'm definitely going Iowa in this one. Iowa at 4-4 takes the cake for me. Iowa is no joke. I think that they've been a tough team. They've been a team that could shock people. I think they're playing under expectations right now. I think people had higher expectations for Iowa, and they kind of dropped the ball. But they're a tough 4-4 team that can turn up and ruin it for some guys. And I think later down the line, they may take some teams out the top four possibilities. So I definitely got Iowa, and I think everybody's pretty much gonna go Iowa. Oh God, he got the Vols. He think they're gonna get their second win. Coming in, Oregon State versus UCLA. UCLA started as a really tough team, and then they kind of just tanked, guys. Their defense was playing outstanding early on, and now they just kind of fell off. Their offense averages 25 points a game. Like, their offense was scoring 30 points. I remember that. But yeah, man, it was, I don't know. I don't know what happened to this team that made them fall off the way they did, but UCLA has kind of just fell off, and this is a trap game for Oregon State, man. Oregon State needs this game though. Sam Bucci needs this game as well as Oregon State. I think they get out, they may be tough. It might be tough for them if they lose this game as far as the race of top four. And then Sambuchi's stock is really gonna hurt if they taking losses to teams like this later in the season when they know they need to be in playoff contention in that top four. So I'm still gonna go with Bucci. Guys saying Bucci getting back, but I'm definitely gonna go with Oregon State and Bucci. Man, I think Bucci gonna be Gucci in this game, and I think he gets it done. They give up 27 points. He better be Gucci in this game. He better be. If not, man, he's in trouble. Last but not least, we got LSU versus Ole Miss, and this is another huge game, man. I think it's gonna be a really good game. LSU, I don't fault them too much for that loss last week. They won 6 in a row. It was gonna come to an end at some point. But to be 6-3 at this point in the season is huge for them. Ole Miss as well. I think these are two teams that could be in the runnings for that top four spot. And I think this is another big game for both of them to really solidify them at that upper echelon. I think if Ole Miss wins, I think they become a lock. I think if LSU wins, they may not become a lock because they're gonna have to finish strong, but this is gonna definitely help them as far as resume when it comes to pardon me, guys. When it comes to figuring out, who's the top teams, who's who, man. So appreciate you guys, man, for getting through that with me. Let me know who y'all got as far as those guys. And we're gonna get into some we can get into the rankings. We get to the power rankings before we do league leaders. We're gonna do power rankings. And as you can see, we paid attention to this all the way on the left. NFL power rankings, which would be the whole league. And at number one right now, Alabama 8-1, no surprise for anybody. At number two, we got Ole Miss 6-2. And 6-2, man, they earned it. So at 6-2, the way they've been playing, Ole Miss ranked number two in the country right now. And that's what you like to see, man. These rankings are gonna be our official rankings just till the end of the season. And thank you. So that's where we're gonna kind of keep it at. These are gonna be the rankings. So if you want to see what your team ranking is, we're gonna go down, and this is how you would see. Um, so right now we got Alabama at number one, we got Ole Miss at number two, we got Texas at number three, and LSU at number four. So they will have Florida outside. And who did Florida lose to? Because this is where I would maybe come in and be like, hey, I don't know about that. But Florida lost to NC State. So Florida lost to NC State. They also lost to the Texas A&M. So they lost to NC State and Texas A&M, and those and for what it's worth, those are pretty tough losses. Especially at the points that they lost to them, because none of those teams are really too crazy. But LSU, who did they lose to? See, LSU lost to Tennessee. That's bad early in the season, but that's still a really bad loss. They also lost to Alabama. They also lost to USC. So those are their three losses. So two of those losses are not bad, but the Tennessee loss is bad for LSU. And although they've been on that end of the, as long as although they've been on that win streak, I don't know. And let me see. LSU, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that may be where I would swap. But I would still have to go through all of these teams and see the schedule at the end. So before I picked four, but Gators and LSU, you know, that's a tough battle right there. That's a pretty tough battle. But number six, we got Oregon State. Seven, we got Florida State. Spartans, we got at number eight. Nine, Utah. 10, we got Notre Dame. 11, Wolverines. 12, NC State. 13, Badgers. 14, Aggies. 15, Auburn. 16, USC. And this is a low. USC is ranked pretty low to have the record that they have, but that shows you the level of competition, man, that has been. They've beaten some pretty tough teams. But they lost to Iowa. So I get it. They lost to Iowa. They lost to Texas A&M. Let me see who else they lost to. They got blown out by Ole Miss. And so as I see these rankings and certain teams surprise me when I go in and look, it makes sense because you getting blown out by certain teams and you're losing to certain teams that's not that. It makes sense as to why you would be so low, although you're 5-3, because some of the head-to-head matchups you gotta put A&M over them on head-to-head. You gotta put certain guys over them at head-to-heads with a close record like this. Like that's why certain teams is over certain teams with certain losses, because it's like we lost one more game, but we beat you in the head to head. So you always got to take that into account. With some teams may lose a certain game, but if they got the same amount of wins, knowing that head to head due to bye weeks, it is what it is, man. There's not. I didn't get. I have to manually change the schedules myself, so I've been doing it week to week. I haven't just changed every schedule. If you go to the podcast, if you go early in the podcast, you will see who you play this week. But I can't. Like I don't have. I honestly don't have the time to go and recreate the whole schedule and keep up with everything. So I've been doing it week to week. It's about 15 games a week, so I have to look through the schedule and see that and see pardon me, and see all of that. So pardon me for that, but with condensing, once everybody voted to condense the schedule, I knew it was gonna be a lot of work. But I'm like, instead of waiting to just do it all one day and I really don't have the time, I'm just gonna go on a week to week basis and alter what needs to be fixed. So for the most part, the schedules will be the same, but if you play the team twice, that's where you'll see switches. So if you have a bye week, you may not, and then if you have a bye week at certain points, you may not, and then it may be some switches based on teams that you have already played. If you already played somebody, 9 times out of 10 you're not playing them again. Well, 10 times out of 10 you're not playing them again. I can promise you it will be no more double teams that's double. There was only about 4 teams that played each other twice, and it is what it is. They got away with that, but that's pretty much it. And then here you see the back end of the 32 teams, and this is what I mean with head-to-head matchups. A lot of wins and losses don't separate the top 10 from the maybe bottom 10. From 19 to 20, you still got some 4 5 win teams. You got a couple, so it's still some 5 win teams. I feel like that could work their way in. It's just about how things fare. And we will be having a conference championship, so it is gonna be a chance for teams that's on that bottom end to work their way up. Washington is at 26. That's not, it's nothing but up from here. Like, you know what I mean? 32 teams is teams that they are better than that right now, and they just got to keep working. For my guy Eli, I know he in here watching. And then if you look on offense and defensive power rankings, these don't matter as far as like playoffs, but this could show you where some teams are ranked as far as like the production. You got 2 teams that aren't too good right there in the defensive power rankings, and that just showed you that certain teams can make something happen on certain ends of the floor, but it just doesn't always equate to the overall. Tennessee has the number 2 ranked defense in the power rankings, but as you can see, they're not doing too good. 17th in takeaways. They don't give up too many. 135 rush yards. I guess that's a little something. And then they give up 25 points. I'm not sure how their defensive power ranking is that, but they got it. Maybe against who they played against the scores. Let me see. I would be surprising to see. 24, they gave up 26, they gave up 39, they gave up 24, 34, 30. So I don't know. They giving up some points. Maybe it's not touchdowns. I'll have to go back and see what's up. But their defense is ranked number 2 right now. It's probably overall yardage. It got to be overall yardage. It definitely got to be overall yardage. Let me see UGA 4-5. UGA being 4-5. I'm not gonna say y'all all the way out, but y'all have to. I want to say y'all all the way out, but y'all would have to win out to be considered. Um, yeah, even if y'all win out right now, that would be what They got 3 games left. That would be 7-5. That would be 7-5. I think that's tough. It's tough to make that a case if a lot of teams don't lose. So I would say y'all out. I would say y'all out, but it is possible. So I would say y'all out, but it's definitely possible to me. That's all I would say about that. It's possible because some teams could lose. Like you got some teams losing, and depending on who y'all got on the schedule, it may be some head to heads that y'all can win. Maybe if y'all could sneak in a zone chip. I don't know who's in y'all zone. I would have to look. Yeah. If y'all lost to Florida, UGA, y'all lost to Florida and Bama, I think that would be around the top 2 spots. So I mean, I would check who's in your zone, and I'm gonna start dropping some zone records and stuff, so you guys can follow the zones a little more. Now that we're closer to the end and that the zones is gonna be the conference chip, I'm definitely gonna get the zones together and make that a conference chip for you guys. So yeah, so keep that in mind. That we will be doing that. I will be doing that. I even been thinking about maybe extending the zones and doing like a semis and like so that way the best of the zones could play each other as well. So we'll see how that goes. That may be like a big bowl, like a bigger bowl game. And help some more teams kind of cover some ground, but we'll see how that pans out. And now I'm just gonna try to jump into some stats really quick and see what's going on. Duke Davis always gets those extra, what I think it was like 30 yards and a touchdown. So he actually has 21 touchdowns. But he got 2,548 yards. He's coming in second right now. You got Duncan Woods. Duncan Woods at number 1. Duke Davis. Brock Williamson at number 3. This is passing yards, guys. Ace Andre Roche. Drew McNeil. Johnny Marzell, Jacob Brewer, John Richards, Rob Edwards, Jason Duncan. So you got some freshman user guys on here right now in the top 10. Let me count up. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. 8 of the top 10 quarterbacks are freshmen, and that's dope. That's dope right there. 8 of the top 10 guys in yardage are freshmen. Duke Davis, Ace Andre Roche would, like I said, is the top of the top right now. But you still got Brock Williamson. He's a really good quarterback. 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Ace Andre Roche, 21, 5 interceptions. Duke Davis, 21, 5 interceptions. So Duke Davis and Ace Andre Roche both have 21 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So that's really good for both quarterbacks. They're playing really, really well. Duke has the yardage on Ace, but Duke also played an extra game. I think Ace already had his bye week, so that's definitely why. And then if you go down here, I'll show you guys some more guys. We got some guys in here, man. That's doing it. Brett Sambucci, 14. He got a couple of generics ahead of him as well. Yeah, man, things is getting interesting in these stat departments, and stats versus impact is a thing, but things is definitely getting interesting, guys. We go to touchdowns. Both guys have 21 touchdowns, guys. I gotta reiterate that one. Both guys got both guys have 21. Let me see where Samaj is at. Samaj is number 34 right now in yards, and that makes sense because he he came on pretty late. And he got to get some things together, man, with the interceptions. But touchdowns, Ace and Duke tied at number 1. Tyshawn at number 2. Duncan Woods number 3, and you got a lot of guys tied at number 3. And then Duncan Woods got to get those interception numbers right. He's 17 and 10 right now. But risk taker, a little bit of a risk taker, a little bit of a gunslinger himself. But Johnny Marzell 17 and 5. Eric Weber 17 and 6. Brock 17 and 5. These decent numbers. Jason Duncan 16 and 6. Kenny Knox 15 and 1. Yeah. Let me see. Where is Jay King? 11 and 1. So Jay King hasn't been. He ain't been taking too many risks. Playing a bit conservative, and you could see a lot of guys on the 2,000 mark. He's at 1,600. I wonder if he's even gonna get over the 2,000 mark. He should get over the 2,000 mark, but I don't think we're gonna see anything too crazy from him. Um, yeah, man. But I was just definitely looking to see because these interception guys, some guys with some low interception numbers. But if you know, this is the full list. If you guys want to pause it and see or keep for your, recollection, you always can. That's what I would advise, to keep the podcast in mind whenever you want to look through, certain statistics and stuff like that. Just head to the podcast until we get our site popping and because we're offline due to the mod, we can't even connect to any of those apps or anything. This is the closest to it, and it's not like a sign-in thing. This is literally part of a mod. This is like an extension of a mod, guys. So pardon me, but we will get a site and stuff going soon. We should be able to use one of those sites once NCAA comes out. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have like companion tools for franchises and stuff like that. Something like the Neon Sports and things of that nature. So we'll have things like that. When it comes to interceptions, the highest Trent Edwards of Iowa, Duncan Woods of Oklahoma, Ronnie of Colorado, Tuladau of Clemson, Nick Patton. And here you go as the list goes on. You got some guys that got some interception issues a bit. The Michael Bibbs at 13. And there's some ties here. So a lot of guys is kind of equal in the interception department. And then you got these guys at the lower tier of interceptions. Tyshawn Bryant with 4. That's really good. 18-4. Um, you know, Javon Sims only had 4, but his time ran pretty short. Kenny Knox playing terrific, 15-1. You know what I'm saying, for UCLA, but UCLA just not having that good of a season. Kenny Knox is maybe a guy that we could have come back and be in the next college series for UCLA, and we see how that kid does. Um, let's see, the most sacked quarterback, Johnny Manziel with 38. Oof, him and John Richards, Trent Edwards. Oof. So you see why some of these quarterbacks may be struggling with these sack numbers here. It's not gonna be easy when you got that type of pressure on you. But that's it. Completion percentage. Let's see. Of course, you would disqualify those guys. But Brock Williamson, 70% completion percentage. Um, yeah, 70% completion percentage. 69 for Bryant. That's good. Ace with 67. He's clicking at a high rate and playing really well. Samaj Sims has a really good high completion percentage as well when he's not throwing it to the other team, of course. Um, Elijah Hawkins, Booker Eli with a nice completion percentage, 67. That's really good. Enrique was doing pretty good at 67 too before the Booker Eli came and took him over, but you can see why Eli been able to do more than his numbers with less attempts. Yeah, he has less completions by 3, but the disparity is definitely, it's not even close when you look at touchdowns and interceptions from these two dudes. Obviously Oklahoma State made the right decision. The book has 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Enrique has 4 touchdowns, 7, and they have about almost equal amount of playing time and stuff like that as far as attempts. So that shows you a lot. Let me see something. I see him asking about Zion in the chat. And Zion's completion percentage. You just gotta look as we go down. I see him right here, 62%. So not bad. Not bad. 62. The lowest, even some of the lowest guys. I'll refresh it to see some of the lowest. Um, these are obviously receivers that just have for trick plays, but some of the lowest is Jermichael Bibbs, actually, Duncan Woods, Jason Duncan. Wow, these guys just above 50%, and those are like pretty much league lows. Drew McNeil, yeah. So you got guys in the low 60s, false completion percentage at the bottom for real. Yeah. Go to the rushing game real quick. You see 979 for Key Harris. He's really been taking off. Even in the touchdown department, he has like 5 touchdowns in the last 2 games because he didn't even have touchdowns up until the last couple of weeks. So he's really taking off. 979. He's killing it. Devontae Moore, 894. 5 touchdowns. 856, 6 touchdowns for Ace Lewis, 820, 6 touchdowns for AJ Mullis. And yeah, man, Ace Lewis top 3 now. Tank Jackson number 6. Michael Smith at number 5. Drip Britton at number 7. Patrick Vince at number 8. Casey Robinson number 9. Brian Ramirez number 10. And we got some good backs in this league though. We got some good backs. Tank Wilson at 21, and they barely even give him the rock. He would have definitely been, a lot higher. Um, yeah, man. We got some good backs though. Definitely got some good backs. Some guys that would have thought would be better. Angelo Bow and Will Armstead, they're low, but these guys almost split carries. These guys almost split carries, and these guys still, do really good. They put on for their team. So those are those Michigan State backs. If I'm pretty sure if one of them was getting a load of the carries, they would have been doing their thing. But yeah, Ace top 3 now. That's tough. That's tough. Key Harris definitely about to be over that century mark for the season. That's dope. And I see some guys. I feel like it'll be a couple guys over the century mark. Definitely got like some other guys got some work to do, but we're gonna have a couple guys over the century mark, which is not bad. Let's see average yards per attempt, and of course we're gonna go to the guys that actually have a lot of attempts. Let's see, because these are just including wide receivers and stuff like that. Who's backup running backs? Let me see. Will Armstead, 68, 5 yards, 5.5. And he's like that second back at Michigan State. Let's see, let me go to the top. I mean, yards, yeah. Let me just make sure that was like done right. But if we go down into the guys with the most attempts, then you got Devontae Moore. So Devontae Moore out of the starting running backs. Then AJ Mullis, Trey McLean, Ace Lewis, Frank Demir, Casey Robinson, LiAngelo Boley. But LiAngelo Boley only has 26 attempts, so he don't count. Keith Raleigh. So you guys see the guys with the attempts. Let's see touchdowns. Let's see if Tank hit the 1K mark. He got a chance. 3 games, 200 yards. You better get over. If you don't get 200 yards in 3 games, man, you might not be the real Tank. I don't know if you a Tank if you don't get 200 yards in 3 games to get the 1K your freshman year. And to get the 1K, Ace Lewis #1 in TDs too. Okay, Ace. And Ace has a lot of receiving touchdowns too, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to say a lot, but I feel like he has a nice number of receiving touchdowns. Let me see his statistics. No, you only have 2 receiving touchdowns. Oh no, I can't even see from there. Let me see season. Well, he only got 2 receiving touchdowns. Okay. He has 6. This is Ace stats though. So Ace almost got 1,000 all purpose right now. Ace almost got 1,000 all purpose. Devontae Moore killing it. Really like to see my boy Devontae Moore. What's his all purpose? Oh, he got 289. So he already over 1,000 all purpose. Demo already over 1,000 all purpose. Receiving yards. Let me see. You got margins, profit margins #1. Receiver and receiving yards right now. That's dope. Connor Hicks, Brenton Sweet, Desmond Himes. This is Texas A&M right here. I was telling y'all about Himes. He had a pretty big game in that last loss. He had some long receptions, but he's top 4 in receiving yards. He just don't feel like he don't get the hype because of his team success at certain points, and he just ain't been too crazy, but he's definitely good. Ronnie Arnett is good, tight end for Miami. Hurricanes, he's good. Brandon James, 596. So BJ, you number seven still. Number seven still. McConaughey, number eight. So you got two Notre Dame dudes in the top 10 for yards. So that's dope right there. Jalen Johnson, Ethan Krite at number 10. Who fell off this list is JoJo. He's number 13 now. But this list is still pretty close. Like I feel like certain receivers is a big game away from from getting back on this list at a high level. Cinco still right there. There's a lot of guys that's still in the fold. Jackson Collins dropped off a lot, but he's been hit and miss at times. But yeah, man, I feel like a lot of people are still in the races with the receiving yards. It's just well, they one big game away. A lot of this is close because even from 400 yards, if the top guy is 669, anybody that's within the 500s, I feel like it's still close. Especially, we got 3 games left in the season. 3 games left in the season. Is anybody gonna get over 1,000? Do y'all think anybody's gonna get over 1,000? And let me get my staff members in here. Let me get a code word cast, CAST. So drop that code word cast, and I'm gonna give y'all extra 250 for all the guys that stuck around the podcast. And we gonna get them 300 for the guys that stuck around the podcast, guys. So cast, drop the cast in there, and we'll let that run. We'll just let that run to the end of the podcast. So drop that cast, and you get 300 SC. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. And then the guys are gonna make sure y'all got paid out and all that. They've been killing it as far as the SC. I couldn't thank them enough because that makes my life super easy. So we running that code word to the end of the cast. Cast in the chats. If you hear me, get your 300 SC, man. Touchdowns now. Let me see. Parker Warner. Parker Warner, man. I told you that boy is a problem. Parker Warner. Most touchdowns, man. He's just a highlight waiting to happen, man. Shout out to that boy Parker Warner, man. Kid is super tough. Then you got Jackson Collins behind him. Jay Rello, red zone threat, true red zone threat. Rello is number 2 in touchdowns. So they got 2 Notre Dame wide receivers, top 10 in yards, and then they got a receiver that is top. They also got a receiver that is top 2 in touchdowns. So that shows you something about Notre Dame, man. I told you guys, don't sleep. Don't sleep, man. Don't sleep. We can show the players of the week as well. I can show the players of the week before I get out of here as well. I mean, look at the numbers, guys. You see the numbers. Y'all can check out the touchdowns. There's a lot of ties, so I don't want to go through all those names, especially with all those guys having ties and stuff like that. But as I scroll, you could pause it, see some guys on your team and stuff like that. But touchdowns, man, a lot of guys tie with the TDs, but these guys really separate themselves. Jackson Collins, Jay Rello. I feel like the touchdowns is really close with the wide receivers. We haven't had nobody really like going crazy. Like Parker Warner been going crazy. Jackson Collins, Jay Rello, like you kind of tell the guys, like what's up with the guys that's getting these touchdowns. This is Bama's guy, Jackson Collins. Parker Warner is Texas A&M. We just been seeing this guy score touchdowns and run kicks back. His ability. And then Jay Rello and like Brent Sweet, Cedric Hill. These guys are really good too. Therese McGrady. But like you kind of see where these guys are the top for sure as far as in that red zone. Troy Frost had 3 touchdowns last week to make 5 on the season. But yeah, man, these wide receivers. I feel like the quarterbacks are doing a lot of good job, doing a good job of spreading the love. A lot of people has been, getting their hands on the ball. They just been, certain guys just really dominating in that department. And I mean, we had week 10. Most teams played about 9 games, and you could say this is almost, a touchdown a game. So I haven't really had nobody wilding multiple touchdown games and stuff like that yet. We may remain to see it. You know what I'm saying? It may remains to be seen. Total tackles: Antoine Weaver, Paul Jones, Denzel, Bryson, Juan Cervantes of Notre Dame, number 4 in total tackles. Malenka of Bama, 92 tackles. Number 7, Cole Davis, TCU, number 8. Bud Simmons, number 12, 87 tackles. So You know, okay, okay, that's not bad. Solo tackles, 75 for Denzel Bryson. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Like it. You guys could look down here and see if you want to see if it's certain guys you want to see. This is solo tackles right now, guys. By the way, just to let you know, like what is sorted. And not gonna be going to other pages and stuff like that right now. I just don't think it's necessary. Tackles for loss. Aiden Phillips leading the charge. I told you this kid is a monster. Don't forget to drop that cast in the chat if you want that SC. We got 11 viewers. And if you a player, man, get this free SC. Tackles for loss. You see Aiden, Darren Levy, Paul Jones, Calhoun, Randy Ward, a lot of really good generics. Heath Brothers, Tremaine McGee, Glenn Ingram, Gordon Hardman, Terrence Perkins. This is a lot of defensive linemen that I gotta keep in tune with, man, because these guys is tough. I gotta keep these guys in the fold, man. So I gotta go through and really watch these defensive linemen and make sure that they're in the draft class because we got some good defensive linemen that I want to follow per se from the first year. I think there'll be dope stories moving on with you guys. Boy, a lot of good CPU user guys as well. And then at number one for sacks, Aiden Phillips and Alexander Fort, both at number one. This guy, Aiden Phillips, a problem. Huge problem. This kid is tough. Came in, got it done. Yeah, man. And 11.5 sacks. Randy Wood, 10.5. Carl Calhoun, Khalil Allen, Terrence Perkins at number. Terrence Perkins will be basically at about number, what, 3? Because these guys tied. This will be number 2, and he'll be number 3 in sacks. 15 tackles for loss, man. Terrence Perkins is a tough man. Is a tough pass rusher, man. I don't know if I could keep him. I might gotta let him go to the draft, man. But I'll definitely go through this. I gotta go through these guys and see, man. Because a lot of these guys are really good. Um, yeah, a lot of these guys are really good, man. I'm not gonna lie. Surprised to see Alexander is not higher on this list. I see Kiari Capri, Zachary Alexander 4.5, but he got 14 tackles for loss, so he's high on the tackles for loss. Um, yeah, man, he's high on the tackles for loss. Safeties, you see the safeties. Some of these guys got safeties, forced fumbles. Dwayne McBride is leading that charge. Um, Denzel Bryson, Gabe Kemp, Jalen Peterson, Mike Guy. You got a state safety up here and a corner. But that's only 2, but still that's pretty tough. Um, yeah, that's pretty tough. We go to sacks. We already looked at this though, but still give you a cleaner look here. These pass rushes, interceptions, Sergio Matthews, LaMelo Brackens, Nazir Fitzsimmons. Yeah, man, we got some tough dudes. I know this is Colorado. Yep. See, LaMelo Brackens is definitely Ole Miss, and this is Ole Miss's second string corner. As you can see, this dude 75 overall. So he's been getting his hands on the ball, man. He had a couple interceptions, if I'm not mistaken, last game. And Sergio Matthews, you know where he's at, man. One of the top corners, but we've seen him get cooked on certain plays. We seen him kind of go MIA last week, but it's hard, man. He done cold game. I think he just got good upside, and at the same time got some things to work on. But Sergio Matthews had a really good season. Ty K. Wells at number 4, and this is a tie between a lot of good guys. Tevin Hargrave is another good guy. Kamari Hill, Waverly Harris. There's a lot of good corners, man, in this setting, man. A lot of guys is gonna separate themselves, of course, but there's some good corners, man. You guys gotta, stay in tune, pay attention, man. Some good corners. Romeo Gordon, uh, Mississippi State, Sylvester Norcutt, Florida State, Craig Johnson, Auburn. Okay, so Craig with 4 interceptions. Gotta watch him. Terrell Terry of Ole Miss, Kamari Hill, Tevin Hargrave, Caleb Allen, Mississippi State. You gotta watch both of them Mississippi State guys. Those guys over there making it tough. You know that defense is good, but those guys making it tough. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Let me see field goals made. Jeremiah Phillips made the most field goals for LSU. So LSU kicker leading the charge. Let's see percentage. 19 to 19. We got some guys that's perfect. Miami's kicker. Walter Chambers. Let's see. Ty Clemson's kicker is perfect. And we've seen quite a few misses from some guys, but Clemson and Miami kickers are perfect. But both of their teams is terrible. So that's funny. But LSU kicker, okay, LSU kicker, he only missed one. Only missed one. Only missed one. This dude missed three, Sam Perkins. Oh yeah, man. We got some guys that only miss one. And the kicking numbers look realistic. I'm happy that we don't got the Madden where everybody's perfect. Yeah, so I think I did a good job with the kicking sliders. What y'all think, man? Everybody not perfect. I think I did a good job with the kicking sliders. Y'all know usual Madden, you'll really see any misses. But I think we did a good job with the kicking. I don't think it was we seen some misses, but looking at the stats, do y'all think it was too many misses or do y'all think this is realistic? Like it's a skills gap between the kickers. Like I think it works out. The most kicks that a kicker has missed is 6. That's Emmett Webb of Ole Miss. Yeah. So Ole Miss seems to have one of the worst kickers, and that could be dangerous for them. But I think we did a good job with the kicking, man. I think we did a good job. I think like seeing different percentages with kickers is just I like seeing that. It's usually in Madden you don't see that. A lot of guys are perfect from the shorter distances, as you can see, 1 to 29 yards. Almost everybody's perfect from 1 to 29 yards. You see a couple misses from 1 to 29 yards. The misses really start coming in. You really even see misses from 30 to 39. If you look, you really see misses from 30 to 39. 40 to 49 is where you're starting to see misses. 4 misses for this kicker right here. 1 miss for this guy right here. 2 misses for this guy right here. 2 misses for this guy right here. So this is where 40 to 49 is where you see the most misses, and that's realistic. This guy is 2 for 6. So and that's Emmett Webb. So that's Emmett Webb. He show you 40 to 49, and Emmett Webb has not been too good between 40 and 49-yard kicks. And then 50 plus, that's gonna be the hardest kicks. But some guys got that leg. Pause. No Diddy. Some guys could kick it that far. Um, who's missed the most from 50 plus? I see some 3 for 6s. So nobody really tanked from 50 plus. And who got the long pause? Who kicked the longest field goal? Let's see, 63. I see up here right now. Uh, yeah, 63. 63. Sam Bortland of Miami. So that kid got a boot. Um, Extra points made. See a lot of guys knocking down the extra points. Couple misses on the extra points, but nobody has went too crazy with missing the extra points. So that's not bad. That's not bad. All of these punts has been crazy. I'm not gonna hold you, man. These punts has been too good. I think like balancing out the kicking made the punters too OP. If you ask me, we should have had some worse punters. I probably should have lowered the punters, guys. I should have went internally and lowered the punters because these dudes was going crazy. I'm not gonna even hold you. They've been kicking no too good. But yeah, that's really it, guys. Let me know if y'all got any questions. I'll take some questions for the next 5 minutes. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. But you guys have been rocking with me. It's 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern. I'll be forgetting that some of you guys are on different timelines. Elijah Hawkins, Ace Lewis with the players of the weeks. So and they definitely deserve it. Elijah Hawkins, the book threw 430 with 3 touchdowns. Woo. The book threw 430 with 3 touchdowns. That kid is tough, bro. That kid is tough. The book went crazy in that game. The book went off. Ace Lewis. Nah, this can't be robbery. 433 touchdowns. They got him beat. And Ace 21 rushes, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns. What? That's crazy work right there. That's crazy work. Frost definitely didn't get robbed. When you look at this, Frost ain't get robbed, man. Frost definitely ain't get robbed if you look at this. But that was definitely good stuff, man. Ace with the player of the week, the book with the player of the week. So two guys that was at Notre Dame. Two guys that was at Notre Dame this season getting player of the week, man. Them fighting Irish guys trying to continue to punch they ticket in, man. See them fighting Irish guys. But yeah, man, I think that does it. Appreciate you guys for rocking with me, man. We've been having a nice podcast. I don't know how long we went for. We went for about an hour and 30, so that's not a bad podcast. That's about average from what we usually do, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me as always. We gonna continue staying locked in and doing what we do. It's been fun, as always, covering these games and just chopping it with y'all. Like I said, we bouncing back, but I'm definitely gonna get these games streamed up. We're gonna start the week fresh tomorrow with a couple of games. Yep, try to play catch up as much as possible. Friday as well. This weekend we gonna rock out, man. So appreciate y'all once again. Drop cast in the chat if you haven't to get your points. And I'm out, man. If I don't see no questions, I'm out of here, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Your boy Kamish Moolah is out of here. Let me fix myself, put myself right back. So just for the next cast, I don't gotta do no extra work. But it's been a good one, man. It's been a good one. We got my boy Ace, player of the week, with the cover. He got his first cover, man. First cover of the cast, man. So appreciate y'all, man. I will be in the Discord. We can chat it up in the Discord. Just let me know. It's been a while since I've been in Discord, but I told y'all, man, your boy was going through it a little bit. But yeah. Appreciate y'all, man. As always, Moolah out.